Heavy rainfall hits dry asphalt, pooling instantly into violent runoff that overwhelms aging municipal drains within a matter of minutes. As this surface water sweeps through industrial zones and urban neighborhoods, it acts like a sponge. It absorbs vehicle exhaust, dumped chemical waste, and massive accumulations of garbage left exposed in drainage channels. When full-scale flooding sets in, the massive weight and pressure of the standing water crushes aging underground infrastructure. Drinking water pipes crack, sewage lines break open. Because these systems often run parallel, raw sewage forces its way directly into the municipal water supply. Beyond structural damage, flooding weaponizes the city's own distribution network, piping a lethal mixture of ground-level toxins straight into residential overhead tanks and taps. This visualization categorizes the severe contaminant load found in post-flood water. On the left, a surge in biological threats, bacteria and viruses responsible for cholera, typhoid, and hepatitis. On the right, chemical hazards, industrial runoff laced with arsenic, lead, and agricultural pesticides. These pathogens multiply rapidly in stagnant floodwaters. Within days, acute watery diarrhea and gastroenteritis spike across affected areas. Infants and the elderly face the highest mortality risk from severe dehydration and overwhelmed immune systems. Families forced out of their ruined homes find themselves facing an immediate secondary disaster. They are wading through the very toxic suspension, making them severely sick, trying to survive a health emergency with zero access to clean drinking water. In response to these complex emergencies, Gill Corporation owner and CEO Azhar Amin Gill established a strict operational protocol. Rapid assessment must happen first. Before a single pump is turned on, technical teams move into the flooded zones to draw samples from wells, municipal lines, and natural bodies of water. They run on-site diagnostics and send samples to labs to map the exact ratio of heavy metals to bacterial loads. Floods in an agricultural basin require entirely different filtration protocols than floods in an industrial sector. Guessing the water profile leads to inadequate treatment, and treating contaminated water incorrectly leaves dangerous elements behind. This schematic outlines the custom-engineered multi-barrier purification system Gill Corporation designed to handle the extreme physical debris and toxic load of post-flood water. In the first two chambers, coagulation and sedimentation occur. Precisely calculated doses of chemical coagulants are injected, forcing the suspended mud, clay, and organic matter to clump into heavy flocks and sink to the bottom. The clarified liquid then moves into stage 3, multimedia filtration. Deep beds of layered anthracite coal, sand, and gravel strip away the remaining physical particles and larger microorganisms that survived the initial settling. Stage 4 addresses the chemical threat. As water flows through activated carbon, massive internal surface areas absorb the invisible, dissolved industrial solvents, agricultural pesticides, and petroleum products that normal physical filters miss. For severe contamination scenarios, the water enters stage 5, reverse osmosis polishing. High-pressure pumps force the liquid through membranes with pores measuring roughly 0.0001 microns, isolating molecularly pure water from any residual heavy metals. Finally, stage 6 utilizes high-intensity ultraviolet light to destroy the DNA of any surviving microscopic pathogens. This completely sterilizes the water without injecting any lingering chemical residues. The massive volume of toxic sludge extracted during this 6-stage process is safely contained and disposed of off-site. Under Gill Corporation's strict zero untreated discharge policy, none of those concentrated contaminants are ever flushed back into the local environment. By layering these mechanical, chemical, and light-based barriers, the system ensures that the final output easily exceeds safe drinking standards, no matter how heavily the incoming floodwater was polluted. During the immediate crisis, this technology is mobilized. Containerized high-speed purification units are deployed directly to high-population displacement camps, converting stagnant local floodwater into thousands of liters of certified safe drinking water every single day. As the waters recede, the operation shifts from emergency production to infrastructure rehabilitation. Engineering teams move block by block through affected neighborhoods, mechanically removing silt from community wells, applying calculated shock chlorination treatments, and running laboratory tests until local water access is restored. Out of the complex debris and toxic sludge, the final output emerges completely clear, purified, and certified safe. Relying permanently on emergency mobile units leaves cities vulnerable to the next storm. To build long-term urban safety, Gill Corporation designs and installs permanent, community-scale purification plants and designated access points straight into densely populated neighborhoods where the municipal grid is chronically failing. Dropping off bottled water and leaving after a disaster is temporary aid. True corporate responsibility is staying to build a self-sustaining grid so the community doesn't need external intervention the next time it rains. There is, however, a critical paradox in modern water treatment. Pushing thick, contaminated water through high-pressure reverse osmosis membranes and running high-intensity UV arrays demands an enormous, continuous supply of electrical power. Drawing that electricity from Pakistan's fragile national grid is risky. The grid frequently goes offline precisely during heavy rainfall, when clean water is needed most. Moreover, a water operation reliant on burning fossil fuels directly contributes to the environmental degradation that intensifies flooding. Recognizing this operational flaw, CEO Azhar Amin Gill directed a structural pivot. Gill Corporation would engineer out its reliance on the grid and integrate solar energy directly into its purification facilities. By installing robust photovoltaic arrays and high-capacity battery storage systems on site, these purification plants sever their connection to municipal power. They generate and store enough energy during the day to run heavy pumps and filtration arrays 24 hours a day, completely off-grid. Sustainable water purification effectively depends on the permanence of the clean energy used to drive the filtration systems. These off-grid protocols expanded outward, deploying new solar infrastructure to power local homes, large commercial buildings, and emergency medical clinics. In the agricultural sector, they replaced diesel-guzzling irrigation engines with advanced solar-powered pumps. This eliminated the massive recurring fuel expenses that burdened farming communities, immediately lowering the cost of local agriculture. The ultimate objective is a completely self-reliant landscape powered entirely by clean sunlight and completely insulated from utility failures. This entire operational framework rests on Azhar Amin Gill's conviction that an organization operating in the resources sector holds a distinct moral obligation to actively engineer safety and stability for the public. Dirty water and unreliable power do not have to be permanent realities. Through exact science and renewable energy, Gill Corporation is proving that these interconnected crises are simply engineering challenges waiting to be solved.